Mike Pillow recently took his social media company public, and it's been a disaster, which means it's time for another episode of Pillow Talk.
God gave me this platform.
I want to talk to Mike Lindell.
I already know I'm going to win. China did our vote.
No, they're not lumpy pillows.
Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Just forget about the evidence.
You're an asshole.
This was attacked.
Asshole.
Lumpy pillow pusher Mike Lindell has gotten into the social media wars, and it's not going well for him. Lindell took his Frank Speech social media platform public to raise cash, and according to journalist Jackie Patrizio, he's made some pretty big,
Whoopsie.
yeah. So, first off, Patrizio notes that Lindell's botched rollout, starting with him telling his followers the incorrect ticker for the penny stock that trades OTC. That's over the counter. Confused MAGA followers who couldn't find it on Robinhood got mad at Lindell. Because, to be fair though, I think mad is just kind of like a default setting for MAGA supporters. Just saying. Also confused. Confused and angry, so default. Not only that, but he noted that Lindell's merger partner, a media holding company called Incapta Inc., has a accumulated deficit of nearly $150 million. So that right there made me pause. I'm like, wow, $150 million in debt. Not good. And if that's not bad enough, Patrizio writes, it's clear that Lindell has been struggling with the entire concept of the New York Stock Exchange versus the OTC or over-the-counter markets. And we're not talking about prescription drugs here. Okay, we're talking about stocks. So now, the New York Stock Exchange is a much, much larger market, which is centrally located in New York, obviously, because it's the New York Stock Exchange, right? So, I mean, that's where you get like, you ever see the images of the people, like the traders shouting on the floors and everybody's going crazy? Yeah, that's the New York Stock Exchange. That's not penny stocks. That's not the OTC markets, which are more, kind of like a peer-to-peer kind of over the counter. I mean, literally, in some cases. These stocks are not listed on the exchange for reasons, I mean, numerous legitimate reasons. They're just not big enough or anything like that. OTC markets actually do end up helping small investors who are interested in entering the market who don't really have the capital requirements to trade with the big boys, right? It also allows smaller companies that also don't have the, capital requirements to be able to be publicly traded. All right. That said, there are drawbacks to this. Less regulation being one of them, okay? Now, that leads to limited public information about the stocks that are being traded, and of course you've got derivatives as well that are being traded on this and so, which means there is a higher likelihood for OTC stocks of investors getting suckered into something that is perhaps like a pump and dump scheme. So that does happen, all right? Now, gee, I wonder what this is. Could it be dumps? Could he be doing dumps?
Dumps. Big, massive dumps.
I don't know. You'd have to do the pumps first, though, before you can do the dumps. Just saying. I don't know if that's Lindell's plan. I don't know if he's smart enough financially to figure out a pump and dump scheme. I think he generally legitimately believes that his social media platform is, I am fighting for free speech and against censorship. Yeah, okay, Mike. Sure. Now, Gizmodo reported last week that Lindell is taking Frank Speech public through something called a reverse stock split, which is not a stock split at all. It's where you consolidate the company's shares. So, a fancy word for our shares are not worth very much. So what we're going to do is we're just going to consolidate them. Reverse stock split. Okay, sure. Forbes described this kind of maneuver as rare among large, stable companies and more typical of those struggling to maintain their listing on exchanges with minimum price requirements. Well, stable is not exactly something that you would ascribe to Mike Lindell, whether it be his company or his brain, being honest. But here's the thing, though. For smaller companies, you know, especially those trying to break into the social media world and they don't have $44 billion lying around, not the richest man in the world. Certainly Lindell does not qualify as being the richest man in the world or even anywhere near close. It makes sense, okay? Because look, the more stock there is, the more each share is diluted. All right. So now, in his case, if the already low value of the stock is, he's got incredibly low value stock to begin with, okay? So yeah, in that situation, you're going to want to consolidate shares. All right, to make your stock price go a little bit up and make it appear to be worth a little bit more. Now, that said, having such low share values where you have to do that is not great, not a good thing, but it's the least surprising part of the story, aside from, you know, the botched rollout, of course. Now, why is that? Oh, it's because the internet needed another right-wing free speech social media website like Trump needed another indictment. Let's be honest. There's been so many launched and failed and barely scraping by right-wing social media companies as of late. Okay? I mean, how many? How many have been launched and have failed or just barely scraping by or are in the process of failing? I mean, True Social, right? Donald Trump's platform. That's circling the drain. And it's Donald Trump's platform, which, again, I really don't think it should be surprising considering Trump's long record of failing companies, but still. All right, so you got True Social. Frank Speech, that's shaping up to already be a disaster. It just went public. Parler, anybody remember Parler? Defunct. I suppose Getter, which actually does still exist, is one of the rare ones that is still running, though I don't necessarily know the financial health of Getter. Okay, and then we go to the big one. We go to X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, Twitter before Elon bought it was, I mean, it certainly wasn't a massively profitable company, but it actually did hit a point where it was making more money than it was spending. That's what you want to do. They were finally in the black, so to speak, right? Well, Elon Musk bought it, turned it massively hard right, and basically made it into his own personal propaganda outlet, okay? Which has not been great for the financial health of the company. And not only that, of course, all the debt that got loaded onto it as well. And so, yeah. Now, as for Frank Speech, they've also had their own issues, okay? Like repeatedly using the platform to solicit donations for Lindell's personal legal battles against voting machine companies like Smartmatic and Dominion Voting Systems, along with allowing those same platforms to spread the misinformation that spurred those lawsuits in the first place. So it's very likely that investors are taking a look at that and are like, yeah, no, that'd be pretty stupid to invest in that. They see this impending disaster coming, and they're smartly avoiding it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.